What's up, YouTube? Jeff, your Style O.G. And on today's video for you, I'm going to debunk 7 self-improvement myths. If you're new to the channel, we release a new video every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, discussing various men's lifestyle topics such as style, grooming, and dating. I invite you to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and join us. And to my returning friends like Frank Bailey Sr., salute. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for self-improvement. I think we should all strive to get better, professionally, personally, and socially. And there's some great tips out there to help you get there. However, there is some advice out there, although well-meaning, could actually be getting in your way of self-improvement. And that's what I want to help you with on today's video. On today's video, we're going to discuss and hopefully debunk 7 of the biggest self-improvement myths. So without any further delay, let's hop right into it. Now, first up on the list of self-improvement myths is one that's been around as long as people have been giving self-help advice. It's the belief that no matter what, you should never give up. Now, on the surface, that sounds great. Persistence is a great character trait, but there will be times in your life when it's time to go a different way, to diverge off your path or choose a whole new path altogether. There can be times that despite your best efforts, you're getting diminishing returns. It might be time to give up. Although persistence is very important in achieving any goal, being too persistent may actually get in the way of your improvement. How do you know when it's time to give up? Here's a few key signs. Is your pursuit of this goal getting in the way of your overall happiness? Might be time to give up. You realize this thing that you're working on very hard, you no longer need one or both. Or if you're really honest with yourself and you look in the mirror and you know you're just not gonna get this one done. Is not giving up on this goal getting in your way of pursuing a better or more important goal? Might be time to walk away. Although persistence is a great quality to have, sometimes you gotta let go and walk away. You might need to give up. Like a wise man once said, you gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them. Which leads very nicely into our next self-improvement myth. It's the one that goes a little like this. If you want something bad enough, you can do, have, or be anything. Sounds good? Not true. I know you've heard this one, especially since you were a kid. I know I always heard, little Jeffrey, if you believe it, you can achieve it. If you just work hard enough, there's nothing you can't do. Now, as a kid, it's great to build up people's self-esteem. It might not be bad advice, but I'm here to tell you it's just not realistic. There are some things, no matter how hard you try, they're just not in the cards for you. I'll use myself as an example. When I was a younger guy, I loved all sports. My favorite sports, basketball and football. I practiced, I worked, but by the time I got to be a junior in high school, I wasn't tall enough or big enough for basketball and football. I got cut from the team. It wasn't from a lack of want or hard work. I just wasn't good enough. You can't do everything. But when I realized it was time to pivot, I switched to baseball. I was much better at that. I put just as much work into it. That was my lane. But if I kept banging my head against the wall, saying if I just work hard enough, I'll make the basketball or football team, I wouldn't have found my true gift, baseball. A wise man knows his limitations. You should lean into your strengths, but also analyze and take into account your weaknesses. Yes, hard work and positive thinking can get you a lot of places, but it can't get you everywhere. Now, one thing that definitely isn't a myth, you can improve the appearance of that handsome face of yours, primarily by having a daily skincare routine, like the one I've been using every day for the last 2 or 3 years from today's video sponsor, T.H. Hanley. T.H. Hanley is a skincare system designed specifically for us guys that's simple, affordable, and effective, with a heavy emphasis on the simple. And that's what I absolutely love about T.H. Hanley. The learning curve is very minimal. T.H. Hanley ships directly to your front door everything you need for your skincare routine. Not only do they give you everything you need, they tell you what to use, when to use, and how much of it to use. For your daily use, you have your wash and your AM and PM moisturizer, and for twice a week to exfoliate your skin, the facial scrub. And for its OGs, a couple of extra steps. A skin tightening serum, and an eye cream. Now, not only is T.H. Hanley extremely simple to use, it's affordable as well. T.H. Hanley is up to 25 to 50% less expensive than their competitors. Now, don't get me wrong, being simple and affordable, that's great, but it wouldn't matter if it didn't work. And I'm here to tell you firsthand, T.H. Hanley definitely gets the job done. Like I mentioned, I've personally been using it the last 2 or 3 years, and I couldn't be happier with my result. Now, not only did T.H. Hanley sponsor today's video, they've got a special offer for the Style O.G family. When you hit that link in the description and sign up with T.H. Hanley, you'll get 30% off your first box and a free gift. So if you're looking to improve your handsomeness and want to get started on a daily skincare routine that's simple, affordable, and effective, hit that link in the description and get started with T.H. Hanley today. Now, next up on the list of self-improvement myths is definitely a pet peeve of mine. It goes a little like this. If you want to have positive results, you gotta always be thinking positively. Please miss me with that one. It's not true to get to your goals, you always have to have a positive mindset. Now, I believe your default mindset should be positive, but not all the time. Sometimes a positive mindset isn't called for. You're gonna have some successes, some failures, some disappointments. You should be disappointed sometimes. There are some times when you should be sad. You can't always think positively. In everyone's life, we're gonna have the full range of experiences and the appropriate emotions to go with those experiences. That's not always positive. The key isn't always to have a positive mindset. The key is to have the ability to manage your emotions, whether negative, positive, or somewhere in between. Allow yourself to experience the full range of human emotions along the path to your goals. I mean, if you're never sad, can you really recognize true happiness? So yes, I'm all for affirmation, positive thinking, a default positive mindset. But you won't reach all your goals if you're always positive. It's not always appropriate or realistic. Now, the next myth we're gonna debunk falls in the category of tough love. I want to disavow you of this advice. Figure out what you love to do and find a way to make money doing it. Sounds good. The only problem, it's possible, but not probable. You see, for most of us, our interests, hobbies, and true passions aren't money makers. Doing what you love most likely won't put food on the table. As a man, I believe you have 2 primary jobs: to provide and protect. Most of the things you can do to provide a living for yourself and others aren't fun. They aren't exciting. I know some of you out there might be saying, Jeff, you make a great living talking about styling women. Point taken. But did you realize before I did this, I went to school for 10 years. I have a doctor's degree, something to fall back on. I did what I had to do the things I love to do. But I did the things I had to do first. And that's how it's gonna work for most of us. In fact, most of us will never make any money doing the things we love to do. Possible, but not probable. To get to where you wanna go in life, days will be filled with things you really don't want to do. That's part of being a man. Put your head down, do the tough things in life. Remember, when you do what you have to do, it leads you to have the ability to do the things you wanna do. Now, debunking this next myth will probably go down a little smoother and easier than the last one. It's an absolute myth to believe to improve, you always have to make major changes. In fact, some of the best results come from small, incremental changes. Now, if you're in an extremely bad position or getting extremely bad results, you might need major changes. But for most of us, just putting one foot in front of the other, making small, simple, incremental changes will have outstanding results. It's often said that the smallest steps lead to the greatest breakthroughs. Think about it. If you want to lose 20 pounds, you got to lose that first pound first. And a lot of times with believing you have to make major changes can be discouraging. Oftentimes people say, I can't make this big change. It's often an excuse to do nothing at all. But if you take small steps and use them as building blocks to achieve your major goals, that's much more doable and less discouraging. It's much easier to focus on small goals and small incremental changes. And these small changes lead to exponential results. So don't get in the habit of thinking, the only way I can improve, I gotta make this radical change. It's not true. Oftentimes, the best results are seen from small, incremental changes. Next up, I believe, is a very important tip. Some advice we all need to heed, especially in today's modern times. I think it's a huge mistake to try to make improvements by comparing yourself to your role models. Now, here's the thing. I think role models are a very positive thing to have, but you should use your role models for inspiration, not competition. You should only be in competition with yourself, the person in the mirror. You should be measuring yourself against who you were yesterday. If you're a little bit better today than you were yesterday, that's the competition you want to win. Part of the problem a lot of us have in these modern times is comparing ourselves to other people, especially on social media. You know how easy it is to come up short by paying attention to someone's Instagram reel, their highlight reel? Of course, if you only see the best of other people, you'll always fall short. Who can live up to somebody else's highlight? Instead, concentrate on the competition that really matters, that one-on-one you're having against yourself. Are you a better you than you were yesterday? That's all that matters. One of my favorite cliches or sayings, depends on how you look at it, is that comparison is the thief of joy. Always gonna be somebody taller, faster, stronger, and better looking. That's just life. But instead, if you compare yourself to the you from yesterday and know you're getting better, that's the only competition you need to win. Now, to debunk our next myth, I'm gonna do something I rarely do on this channel. I'm gonna give you an absolute. I believe absolutely everyone can stand some self-improvement. So the belief that self-improvement isn't for me, it's the other guy, is definitely a myth. And I mean, no matter where you fall on the spectrum, if you're doing extremely well, self-improvement is for you. You might believe, hey, I'm Gucci. I don't need any help. I don't need an improvement. That's not true. Every strength can be enhanced. And if you're on the other end of the spectrum, nobody is beyond help. You can always work on your weaknesses. You can eliminate or at least decrease them. That's the beauty of life, the beauty of a new day. If you're doing well, a new day presents new challenges. If you're not doing so well, a new day provides opportunity. And that's one of the things I believe you should keep in mind when it comes to self-improvement. Self-improvement is not a destiny, it's a journey. We're always constantly improving, all of us. Self-improvement isn't only for people that are having trouble or failing. It's for those that are doing well just as much. All of us should be constantly looking to improve, to adapt, to evolve, to get better. Because self-improvement is for everybody. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, self-improvement, a very worthy goal. However, some well-meaning people can give you some bad advice. That's why I believe it's very important that you pay attention to the self-improvement myths we discussed in today's video, and make sure you're doing is helping you, not hampering you. Now, as always, I love to have your input. Let the Style O.G family know in the comments section if you have some self-improvement myths I might have forgotten to mention in today's video.